everybody talks about Lincoln Riley and oh, he's going to do this and oh, he's going to go to the NFL and all that. Well, clearly he can coach offense. Clearly, they have not solved any type of defense. You cannot give up 49 points to Cal. You cannot.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, taping from Viva Las Vegas for our Throwdown Thursday show. I actually like this. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. Robert, how are you, man? And we really do got to get a correspondence trip to Vegas one of these days.
I'm down for that. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, I need to get over to the Circle, but I'm not name dropping the hotel I'm at now. But hey, Circle, if you want to host the OCP, I know my folks will come over.
Yeah.
But anyway, in
Yes.
segment one,
Yes, we will.
we will go around the territories, and as we tell you every week, it's going to start to work itself out. In segment two, we have to dig deeper into the Michigan piece because more and more information is coming out. That's why I'm so happy Robert's here. And in segment three, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. What better place to? And I'm a little more entertained than I was last week. But first, let's go around the territories. Got to get Kelly to make like a little around the territory kind of visual as we do this, but
Yep.
no
Yep.
budget productions. ACC. Okay, Robert, the ACC is just not a great football conference. Okay. Florida State has to win out, but they have to be impressive as they beat these teams. But they have a path to the CFP. And by the time this comes out, fans, the first rankings will be out. Florida State's going to be hanging around there. They're in the mix. Louisville just doesn't do it for me. UNC took another loss, and Pitt got shellacked by Notre Dame. You can't get shellacked by Notre Dame. You can lose to Notre Dame, but it's a 50 burger.
Yeah.
So we're only talking about Florida State, and they have to hope, meaning the conference, that they don't lose. Any thoughts on the ACC, or let's keep it moving
Couldn't
with them?
couldn't agree more. I mean, Louisville looked pretty good against Duke. Uh,
Backup quarterback, that dude's not playing. So
yeah.
I'm
And,
sorry.
and
Take the win. Take the win.
yeah, take the win. It's at home. So you got to do that on Louisville has to be able to do that on the road to be in the conversation.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to the American very quickly. Tulane got a scare from Rice, but they're the only team that has a shot from the American to be with the group of five. All right, Big 12. Oklahoma, you blew it, kid. You absolutely 100% blew it. Give all the credit in the world to Kansas and Lance Leopold, the job he's done there. And I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he stays because he's done an amazing job there. Texas is really in play, but they haven't looked national good since that Alabama win.
Nope.
So it's still Texas and Oklahoma, but that's a bad loss. Kansas might be ranked by the next time we're out, but yeah, Big 12 took a big L in my opinion. What are your thoughts, Robert?
No, I agree with that. I mean, Kansas is good. That's a good team. And they will probably be if they're not top 20, if they're not in the 25 in the CFP rankings, they'll be close. Um, but I mean, it's Kansas is historically a bad program. Kansas has gotten Texas a couple times over the years, but they hadn't gotten Oklahoma. I think they won 18 in a row. Oklahoma had won 18 in a row against Kansas. So Kansas won the game and took their goalposts and threw them in the lake.
Fans, we've got to stop that, by the way. What are y'all doing? Anyway, all right, Big Ten. Penn State looked bad, still on the hangover. Maryland lost to Northwestern. Look, I love my school. I love my state, but you can't lose to
Ooh,
Northwestern. Can't.
no,
Can't lose to
no.
them. We'll talk about why I'm a little extra salty in segment three. Still waiting for Michigan, Ohio State, and that's all we're doing. And Michigan, we'll talk a bit more about them in segment two. Ohio State with a good win over a good Wisconsin team. I believe they went into Camp Randall. So they
Yeah,
handled their business. Road trip,
yeah.
as we like to say when I was coaching Robert, that was a business trip. We wore our
Mm-hmm.
suits to the game, make you feel good. All
Yeah.
right, HBCU's good TV time this week. So shout out to the networks who showcased them. Howard and in North Carolina Central and the MEAC are undefeated in the MEAC. FAMU's rolling in the SWAC. So again, Celebration Bowl should be good. We're going to move to the group of five, Conference USA. Liberty is 8-0. Jacksonville State is 6-2 and 5-1 in conference. And that's about it. So if you're
Yep.
doing your bowl things, Jacksonville State's in the same position that JMU is in. We'll talk about that. But don't sleep when you get your little bowl, whatever you guys do out there on those schools. Okay. Maction. I wish we taped live because Tuesday night Maction has been quite beneficial on the secondary entertainment market. Miami of Ohio beat Ohio, but I think Toledo is still the best team. But that's as deep as we're going to go with Maction. Loving the Mountain West Conference, Robert. Good teams. Air Force is 8-0. Fresno State is 7-1. Great win over UNLV, strictly for entertainment purposes only. This is going to go to the wire. Robert, talk a little bit about the Mountain West. I know you've peaked at some of these teams in the past.
Man, Air Force is good. They are very good, and
And
they
their quarterback's not back yet, if I'm not mistaken.
no, he played yesterday. He played yesterday against Colorado State. Air Force went to Colorado State and won in a snowstorm. They're kind of built for that because they run it. It snows in the mountains in October, my man. Yes, it does.
In a snowstorm?
Snowstorm. They had to plow the field before the game. There was snow
Oh,
on the field. They in a snowstorm. But Air Force is kind of built for that. They don't throw the ball a lot. They're still running that old, they're running the old modified wishbone,
wow.
and they're defensively they're very good. They're a
Man,
good team, and um,
man,
I,
that's going to be
I
fun
don't
watching the
know.
end of that.
I don't know if they can run the table because I mean you're one play away from getting your quarterback hurt, and you got to run somebody else out there. You don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
enjoy it. Enjoy it while you smoke them while you got them. Air Force.
Okay. Sun Belt. I love the Sun Belt. James Madison held on against ODU. They're 8-0 this season, and they've won 11 in a row. I don't care what you're playing. You win 11 in a row, that's 11 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia State is 6-2, and they play JMU at home this coming week. So, hey, if JMU does this thing. Shame on the NCAA for not letting these kids have an additional opportunity. So we're going to root for JMU just to shake the system. But again, they're doing good work in Harrisonburg. Their coaching staff, they're all hustling. So keep that winning going, guys. I'm rooting for you. Independence. Notre Dame beat up on Pitt, something awful. And UMass beat Army, secondary bet, but I was kind of disappointed about that. Pac-12, Robert. Okay, Washington didn't look like a CFP.
No,
Okay, Oregon looked like a CFP. Bo
now
Nix. Go
I,
ahead,
I
man.
will say I will say this: Utah's on their third string quarterback,
Yes,
okay? But
yes,
man,
they
Oregon
are.
looked good again.
Yes,
I mean,
they
Utah has a good defense, and Oregon looked really, really good, and
oh,
Washington did not. So
no.
Washington controls their destiny, but right now they do not look good.
Yes. And the stat of the week for me, Robert, is Bo Nix has played 55 college football games. Let's just say he's well seasoned and he's been in many situations. So if Oregon wins out and they win the Pac-12 championship, they're going to be a tough team to beat. Hey, I know I made some jokes, some comments, and I meant them about their coach talking about Colorado because, as you see, Colorado's not a very good team. So you did all of that for a team you was going to beat anyway. That was the problem that I had is that you were going to win that game. And you're talking about Cinderella, and I think it was like week 4. And we're like, come on, man. But Bo Nix is a seasoned quarterback, and they're going to have an opportunity to do some stuff. USC's bad, man. What happened? what, what,
Just, I
what
mean,
happened?
I
What?
mean, they never. Everybody talks about Lincoln Riley and oh, he's going to do this and oh, he's going to go to the NFL and all that. Well, clearly he can coach offense. Clearly, they have not solved any type of defense. You cannot give up 49 points to Cal. You cannot.
no, no.
And I don't know what they're doing on defense. I don't know what that I no idea. No idea. But you can't give up 49 points to Cal. Cal is better than they have been, but Cal is not good. And
Yeah.
you're not that they are in a conversation for a major bowl game at this point, but you shouldn't be if you're giving up 49 points to Cal.
All right. And finally, football. SEC football. We always leave the best for last, fans. Georgia's good, and they keep telling you that they're bored. So, in the world's largest cocktail party, and actually they said it on the air, Robert, so I can say it now.
Okay.
They
Yep.
said it on the show. They beat up Florida. Yes, they did. And don't let the score fool you. The game was not close. It was there was no jeopardy of the outcome changing. And they play Missouri next week. And hey, Missouri, word on the streets, you've been talking a little bit about a little bit of respect and lack of respect, and nobody's paying attention. Well, the world will be watching you on
Don't be doing
Saturday.
that. Don't be doing that.
And I hope that they plan, and they're beating you without the tight end, who I don't think should play this year. But we'll see what happens. Ole Miss has one loss, so after Missouri, Ole Miss, you get a shot at Georgia. Um, Alabama is going to play LSU and Kentucky, and Tennessee gets a shot at Georgia too. So, hey, it's going to be interesting. So, fans, when we get back, we're going to have a special guest, and we're going to talk about Michigan. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 2, we are joined by our team captain, Will Cotton. Will, how you doing, man?
Great. Happy Halloween weekend.
Yes. So now, Michigan. There's cheating, and then there's this. So an NCAA enforcement staff has been physically at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor to look into the sign stealing probe. The arrival of the NCAA enforcement team just a week after the investigation formally opened is not a good sign, because that means you're a priority. The Big Ten confirmed last week that the NCAA was investing, quote, allegations of sign stealing by the University of Michigan football program. Since then, Michigan has suspended Connor Stallions, an analyst making about $55,000 a year, and he's one of the key people of the probe. So, fans, I'm a fan of Scooby-Doo in terms of I work in schools. I work in middle school, high school, college. I'm a coach, and most of what we do is just solving a mystery. That's all we're doing. So ESPN previously reported that Stallions purchased tickets to about 12 of 13 possible Big Ten school games and the 2021-2022 SEC title games in 4 campus stadiums. And he did it, Will, with his own money, his own this, his own that, and he left a paper trail of at least 35 games at 17 stadiums, and everybody has cameras. This was not a hard mystery to solve in terms of where was he there? And to quote the legendary movie Boys in the Hood, there you go right there. There you go right there. The timeline that I mentioned last week, because I mentioned that Michigan hadn't won a big game in a long time, and then they started to win these games. And I said on the air, I don't have point five to research this for me. ESPN must have heard me and said, I got you, coach. So ESPN sources indicated that Stallions bought tickets beginning the first week of 2021. And since that time, Michigan has gone 33-3 overall, 22-1 in the Big Ten. Now, I know correlation is not causation, doctoral person, but that's quite a coinky dink.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the NCAA investigation, Will is my snarky guy. Will, what do you think about Michigan and everything you've heard in the news?
The one thing I've known is some people don't want to do their job. So they'll let you do whatever you need to do. And it's like, look, please don't make me get off my desk. Please don't make me read these emails. Please don't make me do this stuff. And then they're just giving all the information. You can't overlook it, and when investigation starts getting heavy, then people start talking, because at the end of the day, some people are like, look, you're only a number to me. So if it comes to the Fed coming to me, I'm going to say, hey, John did it, and I have no problem with that, because this isn't the hood. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep my job. It's just funny, in the NFL, in NCAA world now, where you can pay anybody anything, $125,000, you're 18 years old, you can buy them a car, you can, do everything, and you're getting in trouble, then it has to be serious. I think we'll figure out what's going on. There's so many receipts. We'll find out the details, but it's not going to be good, because you're making people work. They don't want to work. So, but we'll see what happens.
So, Robert, I'm going to tell you how the NCAA investigation will work, and then I'm waiting to hear your thoughts. So, the time frame is uncertain, but people familiar have said in the media that it's logically impossible for the Michigan case to play out before the end of the football season. So, you have that on your head, that nothing's going to happen this season. Considering that the NCAA still hasn't completed the other outstanding investigation with Michigan, this again is going to carry on. Once the NCAA investigation ends, the infamous notice of allegations is sent, and Michigan would have 90 days to respond according to the NCAA bylaws. That would mean if the investigation ended this week, which is virtually impossible, Michigan would not be required to respond until well after the college football playoffs, and any action this season would have to come from the Big Ten, as the league has a sportsmanship policy that includes the authority for the commissioner to take disciplinary actions. Robert, this is now on your desk. You are advising Michigan. How do you say at the Monday meeting, here's what we're going to do about it?
Wow. So I think that the first thing that's important for people to understand is that Michigan is not in trouble for stealing signs, for stealing signals. People do that all the time in college football. They do that in baseball. People steal signals all the time. That's not the issue. The issue is that this guy created this systemic scheme to go to games and record signals electronically, and then use that electronic information to figure out what plays they were going to run. That's where they're in trouble. And in the end, things like this always go back to the person in charge. If you are the head coach of a football program and you have this, I don't even, systems analysts running around stealing signs and giving you information, even if you have plausible deniability, you do not have plausible deniability, because it's your program. You oversee the program. Even if everybody swears up, down, and sideways that you had no idea what was going on, which I do not believe. I don't believe for 1 second he didn't know this was happening. Even
Probably
if
encouraged it. Probably
yeah,
like, hey, we're
even if
you
you can say, oh, I didn't know, and everybody says no, he didn't know. It's still your program, and you're still in charge, and you are still accountable for what happens. Now he's made all this noise anyway about going back to the NFL. So if anything happens to him, he's going back to the NFL. It's not going to hurt him. It's going to hurt the university. It's going to hurt the kids, which unfortunately is what always happens. And I don't know. There is no easy way out of this other than Michigan saying themselves, and they're not going to do this, other than Michigan saying themselves, you know what, our season's over after we play Ohio State.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to
happen.
So
our season's over, and at the end of the season, they say, you know what, coach? And neither of those two things are going to happen.
I don't foresee that. So fans will plague from it. And it's hard as a high school basketball coach to know what these jokers do. Okay. So I can only imagine how hard it is for a college coach to do. However, if I'm Michigan and I'm advising, I'm telling the NCAA and I'm telling the Big Ten, I'd like to see you try to do something. Go ahead, do something. Go ahead. Go right ahead. All right. Everybody knows where the bodies are buried. So if you ever want to get mad at me, I'm going to open up that closet and let all the bones fall out. And don't forget that other teams in the Big Ten have had issues with different various things. So again, come on at me. Don't throw rocks at a glass house. If I'm admin, and Robert may agree or disagree, I'm going to play it out. I'm going to read the report, and I'm going to respond to what's being asked of me. I'm going to respond to I'm not volunteering any information. I'm going to lawyer up and say something to the equivalent of, we are aware of the investigation and we cannot comment on personnel matters. We will comment at the conclusion of the investigation and thank you. So now you can't ask me anything again because I'm going to say, please refer to our written statement sent on whatever.
Yep.
Robert, any thoughts on my idea on how Michigan should handle it?
No, I mean, that's what they're going to do. And that's what they, that's their best course at this point, because nothing that comes out of this is going to be good for Michigan. Nothing.
No.
All right.
And they're good enough to win the college football playoff. Okay.
Yes.
And
I'm not turning that money down. Are you crazy?
Yeah. They're gonna get the money. They're not gonna make them pay it back.
Right.
We'll make you. Oh, you have to vacate your college football playoff victory. Okay, that'll make it like it never happened, right?
Yeah.
Right. The T-shirts are out.
Yeah.
The T-shirts are out.
Hey, Will, I'm gonna let you close the segment without getting anybody in trouble. But yes or no? Did Coach know everything going on in the program?
Nah.
No. Okay. So with that, in segment 3, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And I tried to know. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, this segment 3. We're going to talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. So on Tuesday of this week, this comes out Thursday, the first CFP rankings are coming out, and that's pretty much been our focus. And let's see how right we're going to be. I have Georgia at 1. So there's reports out that Georgia will not be 1 based on who they played and all of that. And that's why I say let that thing play out and let somebody have a week of feeling good about themselves. But at the end of the day, Georgia's going to be number 1. So we're done with that. Ohio State's number 2, only because they've played more real people than Michigan. Florida State's 3, but the ACC is weak, and that's a bad loss from North Carolina. So the reason why I'm saying these things are bad losses is your strength of schedule is not good. Your teams are losing. You got UVA losing to James Madison, and now they're beating North Carolina. It's just bad, man. It's just bad. Okay. And 4 is Michigan. And hey, secretly, folks, I hope Michigan runs the table, and I want to see you do something. Man, go Big Blue. Okay. And I have James Madison's number 5 because they're undefeated and they can't do anything. And if they're go undefeated, they're going to mess up the whole system. On the outside looking in, there's more teams now. I got Oklahoma in the Big 12, Washington in the Pac-12, Air Force, Mountain West, Liberty because they're undefeated, Texas Big 12, and Oregon in the Pac-12. And again, it still boggles my mind that Bo Nix has played 55 college football games. That's amazing. Okay. Will, what are you thinking about the CFP rankings coming out this week?
I mean, we're seeing things kind of shape up. You know, you got to keep winning, man. Got to keep winning. But this looks like what's going to be Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, and Michigan, unless one of them gets beat, fluke, something happens. I know, Alabama's been creeping. They haven't been, but that's what I would do. That looks standard. Trying to spice it up a little bit, man. But,
Robert, what did you think? Because I did not put Alabama in there because they will probably have a second loss if they make it to the SEC championship. What are your thoughts?
Well, they gotta beat LSU, and so I mean that's step one. I think that we all know Ohio State, Michigan. One of them is going to have at least one loss, right? And we talk all the time, oh, well, people who are undefeated are probably going to get in over them. And that in this case, if it's Georgia, let's say Ohio State beats Michigan. If it's Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, all 4 are undefeated, those will be the 4. That'll be it. And it won't matter how many one-loss teams we have or who they are, because that'll be it. That being said, I don't think that's going to happen. I think stuff will happen because it's college football and you're talking about, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, and stuff will happen. But, and right now I would say, the first one outside looking in is probably Washington right now, because they just,
they don't look national good right now.
They don't look good right now. And they look good right now. And I'd say probably after that, you're looking at maybe Texas. But same thing. They took care of BYU yesterday. It was 35 to 10. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was bad.
But they got 2 late touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it was not as bad as it looked. So,
all right.
So, I think right now what you've got, I'm good with that. Let's roll with that.
All right. So season-long bets. Clemson's done. So I'm 0 for 1 with that one. Tulane is 7-1. They're over 9 with the wins. That's doable. Will, Maryland lost to Northwestern. We were joking either on the show or offline. I don't know. I talked to Will a lot. And I said it's going to be hard to get those 3 wins. And now it's going to be even harder because they've got Penn State, Nebraska, Michigan, and Rutgers. Can I get 3 wins out of that, Will?
Nah.
I can't go 3-1 with that one.
No.
Rats.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe there's like a scandal and everyone can't play that week,
No,
or
no. I was
everyone
hoping for
missed
the
their
Northwestern
midterms.
win, but that was bad. Okay. Texas over 9.5. They're 7-1. That's doable. Troy over 8. They're 6-2. That's doable. Notre Dame over 8.5. They're 7-2. That's doable, especially how some of these teams are playing right now. Utah over 8.5. They're 6-2. It's almost doable. And Tennessee over 9 is a long shot because Georgia is hovering and waiting to get them. So last week I was 0-5. This
Ooh.
week I was 3-2. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Spread. I had Nebraska -1.5. That went to the pay window. Sorry about not posting fans, but I'm in Vegas and I don't have my typical receipt. But hey, it happened. Over and under, I had Florida State under 53.5. That didn't work out for me. They let some late touchdowns go in. My two play was South Carolina over 52. That didn't work out for me, but Iowa State -3 did. My three play, this is my out of spite three play. I had JMU, Air Force, and Fresno. All three went to the pay window. And my upset of the week hit Will. I had Arizona in the late game, but wasn't late for me. This
Oh
West Coast
yeah.
time is like awesome because
Right.
after the Arizona game, I went and had an adult beverage or two or three and just kind of hung out. So, Robert, this later time frame thing, man, there's something to it.
I will
There's something to it.
I will tell you the one thing I miss moving to Texas is that later window. It's way easier to stay up and watch games in that later window, which
Mhm.
later time zone.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
also, I had the SmackDown results, so I knew what matches I wanted to watch and what I didn't. Oh, let me see, because it already happened. So, but
Mhm.
anyway,
Yeah.
week
You could
10's
have bet
notable
on them.
game.
You could have bet on them.
No, no, now, well, we're not cheating like Michigan. Ooh, sorry. All right.
Hey, good,
Week
all right.
10 notable games. Bedlam is this week, and I think I might root for Gundy. Oklahoma State. Notre Dame's playing Clemson. You can go beat them now, Notre Dame. Don't lose now.
Yeah,
Ohio
right.
State versus Rutgers. So Rutgers has another shot to like mess up things. They've had a good year. I think Greg Schiano came back and he's coaching, so he's got a pro coach there. So that should be interesting. I'll take an extra peek at it. Army versus Air Force. Army let me down. The recommendation was Army 9.5, and UMass said no, thank you. So Army travels to Colorado to play Air Force. Missouri travels to Georgia to play Georgia between the hedges, if I'm not mistaken. That is the name. So Missouri, you wanted some attention. You got it, pal.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State travels to College Park to play Maryland. I'm disappointed. All right. JMU
The kids will be
plays
Maryland.
at.
They'll be up. They'll be up. They could beat them. I mean, don't
No.
that could be one of the wins that they get. They just hype because Penn State ain't making one nowhere. Those kids already
Applesauce,
thinking about
Alfalfa.
NFL.
Stop it. All right. JMU travels to Georgia State, and Georgia State could beat them. Georgia State's a very good team. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Washington's playing USC, and USC stinks, but they could beat Washington. LSU plays Alabama, and of course, fans, Oregon State plays at Colorado. Dion is trying to get bowl eligible. I did take them and the under on a secondary bet yesterday, but they're not very good. And
Mm-mm.
I spoke to
Very
some
small.
fans at some local Vegas establishments who are fans of Colorado. So, thank you to the name of the organization that I don't remember, but the beer was good. So they're excited about Dion, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're not only are they not very good at this point in the season, they're beat up too.
Yes, because they're
Yeah.
one deep at every position,
They they,
and
they are beat up. I saw Shiloh Sanders got ejected yesterday for
talk to
targeting.
me real quick, Robert. Was that
That is
targeting?
Yeah.
that is a correct call. He's a
No, it was. He went with the shoulder.
okay. So
Talk to me. I do want to
defense,
know, fans. I know you do too.
defenseless receiver. It's ruled 914. Okay. He's a defenseless receiver. Okay. He crouched and delivered a blow. So there's an indicator. And it was to the head or neck area of the receiver. He hit him in the face mask. That's the head. And did he like blow him up? No, but by rule, that's
Oh, you hit me with the by rule. I love it. That's what you get on the OCP fans. He hit you with by rule, and you got to put your hands down.
Will's over there rolling his eyes.
I saw the hit, and I was just like, "Oof, man." I mean, I guess like you got. I don't know what you do. I mean, I don't know.
If he hits him here, it's nothing.
That's the chest area for those on YouTube.
If he hits him below the neck, it's nothing. Don't hit people high, and don't hit him with the crown of the helmet. That's it.
All right. Well, fans,
it's been like 10 years, right? Like they figure it out. We've been doing this for like 10 years now, right? It's not new.
It's not new. Love it. All right, fans. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, our favorite administrator, Robert Abney, and official and captain for life, Will Cotton, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast from Viva Las Vegas. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.